Animals have a gift for helping people and making them feel safe. They alert us to intruders, pull us out of burning buildings, and take the form of teddy bears to comfort our children at night. Now, the teddy bear, of course, is not technically an animal, but there's no arguing that it's the teddy bear look-alike that does the heavy lifting, so whatever. In any case, it seems only fair that we honor a code and balance the books by helping those who need help, especially bears. Here are a handful of people who pay their dues without a second thought when it comes to saving one of the wild kingdom's most beloved animals. You guessed it, the bear. When the mama bear begs a man to help save her cubs, it was never a question of yes or no, but how. A couple pulls a bucket out of a swimming bear's head. Let's start our love affair with bears thanks to this small but important rescue by a Wisconsin couple. Tricia and Brian were boating and coming back from a day of fishing on Marshmiller Lake when they noticed something in the water moving at high speed. At first glance, they suspected it was a dog or a rock. But upon approaching the object, they discovered, to their mistake, a plastic container stuck on the head of a swimming bear, and the container was filling with water. The couple immediately realized they had to help. They circled around the anxious animal several times, trying to get close enough, and keeping in mind the bear's safety as well as their own. Once they were close enough, Bryant, without hesitation, pulled on the bucket, trapping the cub. It came off smoothly, and the little bear swam away as if nothing had happened. He had no idea he was near the big hibernation. Tricia and Bryant watched and cheered on the tired bear as he swam slowly toward shore. "Swim happily," Tricia shouted. Win-win. The bear got a second chance, and the couple ended a hard day of fishing with bellies full of joy for saving this precious animal. If this little sample of saving the Yogi Bear was a delight, well, get ready for a story about a little cub who was on his last legs, but hopefully wasn't living out his last days. A man saves a drowning cub. In early April, West Virginia's rivers and lakes are still cold from the winter thaw. A park ranger and a bear handler at a wildlife rehabilitation center were searching for a small orphaned black bear cub, but they were not the ones to find and save him again. That title goes to Elijah Barkley, a local man who was on his way to fish with his family. When Barkley got into the forest with his waders on, he encountered the forest ranger and trainer. They told him that there was a lone bear cub in the area and to be on the lookout. And when it's a bear you're looking for, you have to keep your eyes open. He hadn't been on the trail long when Barkley spotted the cub near the water. He was alarmed by the animal's condition. He didn't think the little guy looked very good. He backed up and found the ranger and handler and quickly explained his condition and offered to take them there. They immediately rushed to the scene, and just as they were about to get him to safety, the little pup fell face first into the water. Barkley's quick reflexes and zero selfish thoughts allowed him to enter the icy water in 2 strokes. He swam to the pup and grabbed it by the neck. The little fellow appeared lifeless, but in time he slowly recovered. He was weak, but Barkley had reached him before it was too late. The bear cub was revived and restored to health before being returned to the wild. Without Elijah Barkley's brave actions, that little cub would not have survived, and thanks to her efforts, he was able to fish that day with a full heart. Now imagine if that old teddy bear was bigger, because the following story is 136 kilos heavier and just as touching. 180-kilogram bear saved from drowning. The next story is about a 180-kilogram black bear who decided his porridge was too cold and went out into the Osceola National Forest to find a perfect breakfast. Now, he figured he would get it by scavenging through the trash on the residential streets of Alligator Point, Florida. What he got instead was a tranquilizer dart from wildlife authorities with bad aim. Instead of dozing off, the poor bear ran off in fright. Darts sometimes miss, but there are really few ways to get a big bear to cooperate in the middle of the forest at the edge of the sea. As the tranquilizer began to take effect, the poor bear, dazed and confused, waded into the ocean without a life jacket. However, lucky for him, Adam Warwick, a wildlife commission biologist, was in the area. Warwick ran like a lifeguard into the surf before the big guy went too far into the Gulf. The bear was getting heavy as the sedative took effect, but Warwick managed and was able to handle the situation. The animal growled and snorted steadily at him as the man pulled him closer to the shore so that a vehicle could come and pick him up. Warwick left him 25 yards from the water and stayed to make sure he was put in the back of a pickup truck that would drop him home safe and sound. He suffered a minor scratch from the bear's claws, but a big flood in his heart for his good deed and his new forest friend. Warwick decided not to go to the gym that day. He didn't want to risk messing up his back. Rescues are getting harder and harder. The following is our lead case, and it's all a family affair. If you like this type of content and want to know when we upload more, well, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. This mama bear begs a man to help her save her drowning cubs. When this mama bear decided to take her 2 cubs across the ice, she underestimated a lot of variables and put her and her cubs in the line of danger. It's not yet known why the bear felt compelled to take the action, but it is believed that she made the wrong decision. She was lucky it didn't cost her life or the lives of her cubs. The lake they were crossing was called Lake Baikal. It's in the northwestern region of Russia and is known for its excellent fishing. There are more than 500 islands in the lake, and its surroundings are full of spectacular wildlife, including brown bears. The water can drop to -4 degrees Celsius and has strong currents. A person can survive in the water at -5 degrees for 10 or perhaps 20 minutes before experiencing loss of coordination and strength as hypothermia sets in. Bears, on the other hand, have more fat to protect their core heat, so they can outlast a human. But it's still quite challenging even for them, so it's no wonder the little cubs were struggling to keep going. Mother bear put the cubs on her back and tried to swim across the lake. Halfway across, she changed her mind. She decided she could no longer handle them. She threw them off and headed for the shore. The little bears were left alone in the freezing water and swimming against the current. That's when a small boat full of fishermen came face to face with the drama. With the mother bear standing on the shore looking at her cubs, the fishermen felt they had to help. It was clear to them that the cubs would not last long in these conditions. The grizzly bear is a predatory animal with all the sharp elements in the right places. They are at the top of the food chain. So, when one or more humans have to help them, especially when there's a not-so-protective mother nearby, caution is a must. The first cub made its way to the boat and clung to its side as it nibbled at the deck trying to get a little extra support. The men used a fishing net to pull the bear aboard. With one eye on that cub, they turned to help the second one climb into the net, which was now hanging over the side of the boat. Once aboard, both of them were visibly shaken, but were relieved to have received the help. While all this was going on, Mama Bear was once again moving deeper into the forest. That was a relief to the fishermen. They knew which island she had come from, so they took the cubs to her shore rather than risk approaching the mother. To their delight, the cubs felt affection for their rescuers and did not want to leave at first. But as soon as they smelled their mother's scent, they jumped out of the boat as if it were on fire. As the men walked away, Mama Bear came over to pick up her cubs and took a long look at the fishermen on her way. Perhaps that was a look of gratitude for saving her cubs. Or perhaps she was hungry.